We're on our way to Nice, France. This is the view from our stateroom. We've already been to Barcelona and now we're on our way to Nice. So far everything has been perfect. Plane flight, everything. Barcelona, we saw Gaudi's church and walked the Ramblas. Saw some fantastic architecture as far as buildings and took loads of pictures. Those really unusual things. Streets were really neat as far as how they were narrow and people. Went to a bar called Cheers, met a Romanian young girl that was a waitress, had the lunch in an outdoor cafe and met Jorge and had tatas, and the waiter gave us champagne and we had him drink with us. It was really nice square. On our way to Nice. Soon this ferry might possibly be the coastline of France, either Spain or France. Dear France, view from our room. Took pictures before, we're at sea, now we're close to it. So we're here. And of course,
For tourists, for visitors like you. It is quite an amazing thing. To be honest, this is one of the biggest photorests that we have in the area. Very soon, Stefan and I we're going to take you to see Nice a little bit. Then we're going to get to a place called Saint Paul. Did you notice the ticket said Saint Paul de Vence? And this is one of the most beautiful villages that we have in the area. Half an hour ride to this place. I hope you are amazed by our young drivers.
These roads with this big bus. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Isn't it great? Look, 540. Yes, everybody? Is that all around the world here? And I've tower. This is a magnificent tower. This little tower here, which is on the summit of the world, super, t'es super, t'as tout compris, is a tower. This is where they used to shoot some things, you know. And if you look attentively, below the statue, you have two women, two beautiful women, and a baby in the middle. These women are supposed to represent her breast because she's the milking mother. She's not the kinky, sexy French woman. She's milking mother. Joining back the city center, we're going to ride all the way towards the Promenade des Anglais and we'll be on our way to the village of Saint Paul. You can notice that all the windows are equipped with wooden blinds. Great. See, we have a tram also. Magnifique, parfait. You see the trams? That's how I came to find you. I rode the tram des Anglais. We're going to make a stop on the way back. Promise for you. Huh? So you will have C-A-G-H. It has thick grey walls around it that were made in the 16th century. Saint Paul de Vence. It's also Chagall was Russian and Jewish. When he came back from being an artist in exile from America, he lived here a little while. Window of the bus. The village is really, really very special because it has this shape and there are big, big, big walls around it. Yes, indeed. In the 16th century, the king Francis I built thick walls around the city to protect it from the attacks, to make it untakeable. To your left hand side, this is La Cour. Well, alors Francis I was a wonderful king. He measured very high. He was 6 feet. I've seen a few faces, you know, but then.
They look to St. Paul, right? I think it's, we went from Nice, and this is, I think, the village of St. Paul. So our church, this is a medieval village in France. This is our first tour.
On n'a pas d'heure. Et des fois, elle ne vient pas le matin, elle ne vient pas. Voilà, le téléphone, vous savez.
Looking into history can be a bore. I hate looking at battles and stuff. It really annoys me. It's not for me that. Maybe I'm not a good guide. You should know everything. When you're a guide, they're very ask you to do a lot for the exam. Not to say to praise, but I like general history because I think it tells you a lot. So we're going to make a stop for you, everybody, so you can say you've stepped in Nice. Huh? It's not in the program. Normally there is no stop, and I think this is ridiculous. You have to have a stop on the promenade des Anglais, especially when this bus, they're very special. Now the lady is blushing. So Anglais Promenade, we're going to make a stop in 2 minutes, and we will sit our bus facing a wonderful hotel which is called the Negresco. This hotel is the pearl of the French Promenade des Anglais here in Nice. It has the style of the Belle Epoque. It is the hotel where Coco Chanel, the famous fashion maker, came the first time in 1912. And this is also when she made the first perfume here in Grasse, which is just a half an hour, 1 hour ride from Nice, I should say. And it was the first perfume was Coco. And then she came again 1921.
Yes. Well, it really isn't like rocky. It's
Pebble.
yeah, little things.
Yeah.
It's like sand with black in it. There's your bear.
No, I do actually.
Voilà, this is the Negresco. Il est magnifique cet hôtel. Hein. Alors, we're gonna sit the bus. We're gonna sit the bus in front of the other red light. So if you take a picture, merci beaucoup, of the Negresco Hotel, this is again this fantastic bell. Alors, to the right hand side, you can notice that there are many colored. So it works actually. Yeah? It keeps us from having this air conditioning. And above, on the top, the hill covered with trees, and there is this white cream villa in the center among the trees.
These boats. Clouds, summer clouds with blowing mountaintop.
At the center on the left, the house of Giuseppe Garibaldi, the man who organized the unity of Italy in 1861. Voilà. It's amongst the trees and up. You can't see it right now. Voilà, so we're going to be riding for 10 minutes, hopefully not too much traffic, and we'll be arriving our castle to the right, the pink castle, the Smith Folly. Wow, your ship. It's nice. It's very elegant. Long.
Yeah. On the Greek island. We must have, yeah.
Vinci is a village where he was born, which is between here and Florence. You're not going to see this through the hills, but that's where he came from. You know? Can you believe it? In the 80s, he's designing an helicopter.
Heading toward Florence.
Oh, see those fields being plowed? Most of those fields were covered with sunflowers lots of corn, but sunflowers, lots of sunflower. Sunflower seed is okay. Yet if you came in July here, it would be all yellow, very pretty, all over Tuscany. Sunflower seed is used to make oil for deep fry only. Otherwise, you know what we use to cook? Yes, extra virgin olive oil, right? Have you ever seen a bottle called Bertolli? It's the most special mountain chain in the world. Of course. Orange, yellow, the blue sky, the most beautiful colors, the trees in the savannah there, and the old tree looking toward the horizon. You see them from the back, and the first one is written on an e-box, and the third one, looking at the sunset with all those beautiful colors, says, maybe we should think about sending them a donation. You find everything here, you know, but it's like that. Middle section toward number 3 and 4, which is the political center. We always talking about those days, Middle Ages, because that's when the city-state of Florence became the most powerful because of the economy, the strong economy, because of the florin. We'll go into details later. And then we reach a river, number 6, which is the Ponte Vecchio, the old bridge, the only original bridge. And then before we go for lunch, after our walking tour through the city, you have time on your own, probably half an hour, 40 minutes for shopping if you want. We stop in one place which we use as a meeting point, which is a goldsmith. That area is famous for the goldsmiths. The bridge is famous for the goldsmith. We stop at one goldsmith. You can read about it in the map, chosen by the ship. If you look at the bottom part of the map, you read on the ads, Koi, C-O-I, J, that's the jewelry. You can read what they offer to you. But that will be our meeting point. And I'll tell you then at what time we meet. Then when we meet, we're going to walk to the restaurant. And we have a lunch. I know we have 2 vegetarians. We have any food allergies? From the restaurant toward 9. Look along the river, 9. And there is a church of Santa Croce. We visit the church where Michelangelo is buried. And the Franciscan monastery. But before we go inside that, you're going to have some more time on your own. Please, I must. It's been always industrial area. In this area was very famous for the textile factories. You know, Versace, lots of fashion designers started from here. Made the product. It was very the highest quality in the 60s. Then most of the industry, they all moved to Milan. You know, Milan is a real industrial capital. In this area here, lots of immigrants came, which were all Chinese for some reason. So in this place, we have the first Chinatown in the country. Now, for you, this is remain behind that there is a 1700, grazie Adolfo, vai. 1700 welcome guard for the Habsburg. So, let Adolfo is a good driver, easy. When he's parked properly, means when he opens the doors, that's when you can come out, please. Certo, se mi sta al centro, fai qualcosa.
Florence, and we just saw the statue of David.
Was it 59? 7 generations to build the cathedral in Florence, which when it's completed, 1436, is the largest cathedral ever made by those days. That's before St. Now,
Close.
but those are the so-called gates of violence.
John the Baptist baptizing Jesus.
That's all right. Did you ever know about it? Come to heaven. Really complicated
This is the square in Florence.
Next to Mother Mary, 6 apostles on each side, the 12 apostles. Lower register, bishop and saint. We don't go inside, we never have enough time to be in line, but let me tell you one curiosity. Inside is empty. There's not a single because the bishop says it's open. On the outside, make it lamp. Inside, you are coming
To the bell tower. Are you listening?
1559, this is complete.
The bell tower.
Like an encrusted jewel, it's perfectly straight. It's more than 650 years old. Look how simple and smart is the architect, besides being the most elegant, probably. Going up to the statues, those 4 statues on the niches, those are the prophets. Between the two at the center, you see there are the holes of the window. Can you see the holes of the window? See the statues? There are 4 statues, right? See those 4 prophets? Look. 1, 2, 3, 4 statues. Those are prophets. Between the two at the center, you see there are these holes.
There's people up there.
This is the dome.
For the ambulance, please. So, you're watching the outer dome of a downward shell. Now look at the rose window. Go to the right, you see the second rose window, right? Go to the left, you will find the third one. Going around, you find 8 sides of an octagon. Can you see the octagon up there? Before the dome goes up, there is an octagon. Each side of the octagon is thick, almost 12 feet. And those 12 feet thick, they are able, and that's what they did, place a stair and raise 2 walls, the outer and the inner. That wall is going up on each side of the octagon. And while each side is leaning, all the other 7 are leaning, which means left and right, those 8 sides closing, counterbalancing each other. They create a self-supporting structure. 16 years work, the dome was up. You know what he did? He proved that if you control the laws of nature, you can make the impossible happen. Obvious now, for us it's obvious. But you're looking at the father of those concepts. Leonardo da Vinci was born 16 years after this is complete. He was a young boy here, growing up, learning the same principle. Yes, if I use the laws of nature, I can make an helicopter.
Yeah, there you go.
So what? So reminding their enemies, they control everybody.
This is a
Circular shape. Now we are leaving its northern side, 17 sea miles, crossing the bay by boat. There is the coast of Sorrento on the opposite side. It's 36 miles, the road that goes from Naples to Sorrento. So we drive for a few more minutes through the port of Naples. It's the second largest Italian port after Genoa. Genoa is in the northwest of Italy. The last region before France is called the Liguria region, and we reach the highway, the A3, that goes from Naples to Salerno. The Bay of Salerno, 38 miles south of Naples, is the place where the Allies landed during World War II. So it was from the Bay of Salerno, driving along the same highway, that the troops could reach the city of Naples. Naples that was bombed 117 times during World War II. So we drive for about 20-25 minutes along the highway. Important, signori, because now the visibility is good, so we can see Mount Vesuvius. We'll see the coast of Sorrento also from the highway. Probably in about an hour and 15 minutes we'll reach the farm, La Sorgente, so we go to visit it in the morning. It's one of my favorites. We use 3-4 of them. The reason why I like La Sorgente means a source, because they have a spring of water in their farm, is because it's a real farm. One of the regions that I like in Italy is the Tuscany region. The Tuscany region can be reached from Naples in less than 3 hours, and you know, is famous for the wine, olive oil, and many other things. So there are beautiful farms there. Anytime I go there, the only problem is that when I visit the farm, it's like visiting a 5-star hotel. You know, the stables very clean, the perfumes, you see the cows with the flowers on the ears, everything is perfect. The farm we visit today is a little bit different. It's a real farm. They recently opened it to the tourism, but for generation and generation the family based their economy on the products that they were able to get there at the farm. So you will meet Maria. Maria is the mozzarella cheese queen. You will meet Rosa. Rosa will explain you how the mozzarella is made, and then you can test something there: mozzarella, ricotta, salame, pomodori, tomatoes, and then, signori, we drive down to the center of Sorrento. Sorrento, you will have a free time. Signori, what are you gonna get at the farm cannot be considered lunch, also because of the time we are there, let's say it can be like a brunch more or less. Remember that lunch is not included, so during your free time in Sorrento, in case you want to eat something, take a chance there. Of course, what I suggest to do is from Pompeii, from Sorrento to Pompeii, the drive lasts about 40 minutes. Once we reach the city of Pompeii, we visit the Chemical Coral factory before starting the tour. It's the best way also to guarantee you a PP stop before starting the tour of Pompeii after the drive. And then the visit of the excavations, during which we will see the highlights of the city, so we can see the forum with the public buildings, we can see the victims of the eruption, a house, we can see a restaurant, frescoes, inscriptions, mosaics, and many other things. When we finish the visit of Pompeii, you will have some little free time in case you need to go to the toilets again, or if you want to buy some souvenir, or just sit somewhere and enjoy a cappuccino, coffee, or a good orange juice. So we finish in Naples between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. Them, so the body, lifeless of Parthenope, was found by the Greeks around the Bay of Naples. They dedicated to the city. This is the reason why in Italy many people still today call us Parthenopei. Neapolitans derives from the name of the second city that was founded 474 years before Christ, and its name was Neapolis. Neapolis means the new town, so the name was used to distinguish it from the previous Greek settlement that was named Parthenope. Nea means new, polis means town. In the south of Italy, signori, there are many cities with the word polis included in the name. We have Napoli, Agropoli, Monopoli, Gallipoli. Is more or less the same in UK, where you can find Chester instead of polis. Chester, you probably know, means castrum, so it was founded during the Roman times. Of course, Naples, signori, became a part of the Roman Empire, and during the day you can understand that from the late 1st century BC, and Stabia, Lapilli, Ashes and Tamis buried the other two colonies, where we know people died suffocated because of the gas. But as I was telling you before, signori, imagine also the presence of many people living around the perimeter of Mount Vesuvius. You know that around the volcano the ground is always very fertile due to the presence of volcanic ashes, so the Romans cultivated vineyards and olive trees in large quantities. Both olive oil and wine were exported from the city of Pompeii. So Pompeii was a commercial colony, Herculaneum was residential instead. And we think that at least 10,000 people died in the city of Herculaneum. Between 3,000 and 5,000 were the victims of Pompeii, and 2,000 people perished in the third colony. But it's impossible to understand how many were exactly people living around the volcano. Be ready, everybody, signori. Excuse me. Where is your camera? Here? Oh. Please, the same was present here 2,000 years ago, and something else is important, signori, because now we start to see the island of Capri is there on the right, and the coast of Sorrento. So Capri was confiscated, let's say, by the first Roman emperor when he was coming from the North African colonies, from Libya exactly. He stopped for island. Of course, signori, when the emperor came to live here, many families take the same decision. So many families moved from Rome. Many of them, signori, just suspended their holidays. So you have to imagine the city of Naples, the 3 colonies that were destroyed, the farms around the years ago, before the eruption, the sea was not that far. Have a look now, please, because we have an average distance of about a mile between the highway and the sea. 2,000 years ago, according to the geologists, the volcanists, the sea was more or less 300 meters, 900 feet far from here. The largest part of coast that you see on the right hand side was formed because of the Bradisism. It's a volcanic phenomenon. Imagine the rising of the coast that pushed back the sea. Afterwards, materials erupted from the volcano, enlarged it. So 3 cities were destroyed, 1,000 people died, and the landscape around the Bay of Naples was completely changed in 72 hours only. In case you should come back here, signori, there's something I really recommend to do is the visit of the island of Capri. Somebody bought with us already been there. Also of Sorrento. So from up there you can see everything. You can also see, for example, the ruins of Pompeii. Pompeii is very big, it's a huge area, 163 acres, so can be recognized from up there. And there is also a nice story about the volcano, signori, because there is a song that many people know is one of the most famous Neapolitan songs, Funiculi, Funicula. Funiculi, Funicula means funicolare, cable car. The cable car that was sponsored by Thomas Cook was built in year 1892. The song was written in year 1901. Imagine, signori, is 112 years old, still very famous. Also appearing on the volcano, a huge cloud that was described like a pine tree. I don't know if you ever seen one. Last night, under the rain, I worked with our driver Rosario, so we moved a big pine tree that was miles far from here, just here on the left hand side of the road. So that's what we do every night to better welcome people from all over the world. And then during our free time we move it back again. Look at the Mediterranean pine tree, signori. You can understand why it's known with the name of umbrella tree. Is right there on the left. You can see many today. You can see hundreds and hundreds of them. So what they saw is something that we could compare to the explosion of an atomic bomb. 20 miles at least were reached by the materials, then the pressure ended, the materials collapsed and pushed by the wind covered the area that you have on the left. This is when people died suffocated. About the Mediterranean pine tree, there is also a nice story. If you remember the story of Pinocchio, signori, of Pinocchio. The name Pinocchio derives from that tree. What you call pine is a pino in Italian. Occhio means eye, so the pine with the eye. That's the translation. In front of us, signori, the city of Gragnano. Remember that on the other side of the mountain range there is the city of Amalfi. Amalfi was the first Italian Sea Republic. Amalfi, signori, dominated the Mediterranean Sea for almost 250 years. Amalfi is important to be the city that for the first time since the end of the Roman Empire reestablished the relationships with the North Africa and Middle East. Exporting paper. Paper mills were spread along this side of the mountains. Let people go down to the sky. Signori, look at the view, not the traffic. Why you want to ruin your day, signori? You have paid to stay here. I am paid, and it's different. But I want you to enjoy. Otherwise, why you think he is telling you to see for them the costs?
Sorrento. Between the rain.
Hand fold on the ground. That was big work. Sometimes also the children had bad work. When they picked a lot, they put all there where you see that big stone mill. And this was men's work to move the stone around. If they don't have an animal to move the stone. They pushed the stone for 1 hour. First they crushed the olives with that stone. After crushed the olives there, they filled, oh, what was crushed there? Here. This was like a filter. Inside lies the solid part, the stone and skin. From here went the juice out. When they filled all this filter, they put every filter one and another under this press. They closed the press, by hand they press it down. Not 2 hours, but 1-2 days, step by step. We press out from an olive. Most is water, like in every fruit. Then stone and skin, and then the remaining part is oil. To give an idea what we had last year here, we had for each 100 kilo of olives, 17% of olive oil, that was 17 liters. 38% was the solid part, the rest water. But that changed every year. From milk. And they call it mozzarella di bufala. Believe me that you can't find Believe me that you can't find one buffalo in all Sorrento, because these are water buffaloes. They have to have fields, they have to stay out, and you've heard we don't have fields. It's too close full of fruit trees, no space. These water buffaloes live not far from here. They are close to Naples by Caserta, or at the end of the Amalfi Coast by Pestum Salerno. Here we have simply cows. They're up here where you're right. You didn't saw them, but you smelled them. Yeah. Because now they are in the stable. Maria had 7 cows and 1 cheese dog. She get totally from her 7 cows in the morning 60, 70 liters of milk. She mixed in that milk rennet. Rennet is a starter, is an enzyme. In 2.5 hours, the milk with the rennet, look what happens. This was liquid milk, and now it's What's up the weight? On the top of the boiling way, raise up another type of cheese. It's a light white cream that you have to skim off, and it looks like that. If you love Italian food, you can tell me the name of this light cream Italian cheese. It's ricotta. Ricotta is very light. We use it a lot to fill in cannelloni, ravioli, lasagna, or we bake cakes. If I won't translate ricotta in English, do you know what that means? You are in the direction. It means recooked. Cooked twice. So you get an extra cup of limoncello for the two. So ricotta means twice cooked, because Maria have to keep it hot. It boils up, not raise the cream cheese that she skims up. So ricotta recooked. But there's now a second reason why she had to boil it up. She used the whey again. She mixed the whey again in the curd so that now the curd can change the consistency. It's very nice for the presentation. You have to know that you have first to enjoy to see and then to eat. That's why she made this. And this is a work that she have learned from her mother, 3rd generation. She was 16 years old when she started to learn how to make it. And she makes the cheese since she was 16. Now she's 28. Yeah, this is not only a show here. This is the real thing. This and what she finishes here, she doesn't sell out to a store. It's not a big quantity what she get out. She get out just 10% of cheese. That's 6-7 kilo in the morning. Now to give an idea, 8 or 9 of this from braids, nothing more. So we serve it here to the groups who comes to visit our farm in this season. In the winter she has not so much clients coming in, so she sell it to the local clients. And now look how elastic it is. Look the way how she braid the braid, and watch also to her hands. And you can imagine how hot is that liquid inside there. But I have to spread the positive word to the whey. Not the heat, but the whey. It's very healthy for the skin. If you touch her hands, they are very soft and smooth. She doesn't need a special cream for that. She had better hands than me, and I'm only 18. That's a hard woman. Now if you want, in 10 Italian seconds, you can take a nice picture with Maria and her braid. She loves that part. She doesn't speak English, but before you take all your pictures now, please wait to this, and then take a picture after this. Okay. Listen. Cheese.
On our way back from
of Naples. If you remember, when we came in the morning, everything was covered by the clouds. And when you see the white cloud at the horizon on the left side of the small island, there is the island of Ischia, the volcanic island of Ischia.
This is Saturday, October 12th. We are in Naples, Napoli as they say in Italy. We've just been to Pompeii today, and we got rain on, but saw the Pompeii ruins. We also walked in Sorrento and had pizza for lunch. We also went into the countryside and went to a farm, working farm, and saw how mozzarella is made, and had mozzarella and tomato and olive, and we all had lemon jello. Is that what it's called, Michael?
Lemon jello.
Lemon jello,
And
which
the tomatoes
was
suck.
really good. And we've been very busy the last 3 days, getting up at 6:30 and going out by 8 o'clock. Yesterday we were in, where?
Rome.
We were in Rome yesterday. We saw the Vatican City and the Sistine Chapel. And we also saw the Colosseum. It was a long day. The day before we were in Florence and we saw the David, and we've been buying wine at each port and drinking at night. The day before we were in
That door,
France.
oh good, you're both in.
We started out in
We have
Barcelona.
Really bad smelling that we can't figure out what it is.
Sorrento.
And then we have,
Don't back up, Mike.
Stay where you're at.
I am.
It is Sunday, October 13th. Happy birthday, Michael James. And it looks like this might be at the end of Italy, as far as the boot. There's the boot. It looks like an end right there. We're in Cotar, Monterrey. And starting off with a fog. We're in Cotar, Monterrey. We're on a tender. Starting off with a fog. We're in Cotar, Monterrey.
Excellent. Well, as you can see, we have the headsets, but we won't be using those until we stop, because now I can use this microphone in the on the bus. Democratic country. We have 30,812 square kilometers, and we also have 650,000 people for the whole country. Our capital is called Podgorica. It is in the inland, so if you look on the right in that direction. The language that we speak is Montenegrin. And the currency that we use in our country is euro. Montenegro is not part of the European Union, but we are using euros since 2000. Of course, all of us accept any other currency, no problem with that. Okay, everyone, the 80% of our country are the mountains, and they say that if you flatten whole Montenegro, you can actually cover half of Europe. No? Yes, but don't worry, Montenegrins are just too lazy
We are a very lazy nation. Of course, that only applies.
Egg was part of Yugoslavia.
During the after the Second World War and all the way till 19.